One thing that drives me batshit is how people talk about how difficult it is to figure out their food or get it all done, or it takes so long to meal prep. I see guys, oh, it took me 5 hours to meal prep. I'm like, what are you doing? Muscle and Strength, what's going on? This is Dusty Hanshaw, and today's video is all about what I would do in the past when I was trying to put on mass. Now, of course, what you're seeing, the amounts of food here, those are based on my prime, pushing 300 pounds, trying to get as big as humanly possible. But the food itself, those things can all work for you. You just work on the amounts of food that you're using. The biggest thing to do when you're worried about eating to gain is consistency, just like when you're dieting down. It's gotta be every single day, on the clock, rolling through, same food, same time. So I'm sure many of you guys run into the same thing, which is being able to eat enough food to grow. Now listen, I don't care if you're a hard gainer or you're someone that puts on mass a little easier, eating the amount of food that you need to eat to force your body to grow is always difficult. I feel you that you don't always wanna eat, but if you wanna grow, then you're gonna need to want to grow more than you don't want to eat every single day. Today, I put together a very simple bulking program that I used to do back in the day. You guys are gonna be watching this and see some of the cooking and how it happened, how it went down, a little fun with it, and then some are just gonna see the food. But at the end of the day, what you do have is a guideline that you could follow and take what you want, throw away the rest, but understand that if you follow something along these lines, consistency over time, you're going to see the gains you want. The key is always the same thing, patience. People overestimate what can be done in 2 weeks and underestimate what can be done in 2 years, and 2 years is the secret to really putting on mass. I always kept breakfast my entire career really simple, but in this segment, what we're talking about is putting on muscle mass. And I find it absolutely criminal that so many bodybuilders in the off season eat egg whites. Like, you're losing more than half of the protein, all of the fats. It's just a better route to go with whole eggs, plus they're delicious. So when I grew up, my mom used to make me eggs and toast every day as a kid. That was breakfast. And I have found that people tend to eat the way they grew up. So I found a way to continue eating the exact same way as a bodybuilder when I was trying to grow. So I just get started every morning, 3 slices of toast. I absolutely love this Dave's Killer Bread. It's got 6 grams of protein, got your omegas, all that good stuff. The protein, it's not even why I'm eating it, but hey, since you guys are trying to grow, this is a great way to go because each slice is 110 calories. So I just put 330 calories in there. I buy 2 of these bad boys every time I go to Costco, and they go quick. And because I like to dip, we go over easy with the eggs, which means on camera, I have to not mess up and break my own. The reason I go with something like this is because I'm in a hurry. It gets proteins, fats, carbs all down. I don't wake up hungry like a lot of people do. So I need something that's gonna go down easy, but also hit all my numbers. So I'll have this meal, and then I'll wait about 2 hours before the following meal, which of course is a shake, because again, it's not until about lunchtime I start to actually be like, okay, it's time to eat. I'm a big over Pam user. I love when people watch my videos like, why do you use that much? I don't know. My wife laughs when I do this, but I swear it doesn't stick that way. So we're just gonna kind of open those bad boys up with my favorite spatula, with my favorite pan, another bodybuilding 101. If you guys are serious about bodybuilding, you know you have 15 pans in your house and you use 1. That is me. I let this sit just long enough because I want easily dippable. Now, anybody who's followed me for very long at all knows one thing. If you want gains, your plate's a square. You cannot maximize gains on a round plate. This is, again, science. Now the difficult part. Because I'm nuts, I really like that softer part to be up, which means it requires 1 more flip, which is a really bold move, especially the double. Look at that. I mean, the fact that I got the double, look, that's even a heart. How happy are we right now? If you get the butt, that's your dipper. I will show you the importance of the dipper. It's a sharper edge. So we start out, you crack in. Oh, look at that. I watched a lot of Bobby Flay, so I know that if you don't take a bite, no one believes it was delicious. And as you can see, they're ready to eat. One for Harvey, one for John's. Harvey, right here, look. All right, so this is meal one. Now, I touched on this while I was cooking it. I'm not somebody who wakes up with a huge appetite, so I've got to go with something very, very highly calorically dense, but easy to get down. So I went back to what I did as a kid, which was very simple. Whole eggs, toast, good to go. So I did 6 whole eggs, 3 slices of the Dave's Killer bread, but honestly, it doesn't have to be that. Just buy some good bread, about 20 grams of carbs per slice, and you're in business. Easy meal to get down. Also, if you're like me and you're running late to get out the door, it's easy to cook, eat, and be on your way as soon as possible. I eat this meal around 7 a.m., which means I don't have to touch a meal until about 10:30 after that. Gives me a little more time to find that appetite. All right, so we're on meal 2, and I'm gonna take you guys way back to the way I started doing gainer shakes when I was 16 years old, all the way to the end of my career. And honestly, if I want a heavy meal and I don't want to eat food and I want to pretend I'm having a milkshake, this is the go-to. So real simple. Milk, almond milk, soy milk, whatever the hell you want. I do about 10 ounces right in the old blender. Boom. Then the mutant mass. Now, their servings are 2 scoops to get a serving, and if you want to go to an 1100 calorie shake, you would do 4. One thing I will tell you guys though that's awesome about their particular gainer is I blend this because I'm at home and I want to, because I want the ice and to make it a whole milkshakey situation. But you can shake this up in a shaker cup, no blender bottle needed. It will mix up just fine. So if you're running around, or if you're like I was when I was a kid, I used to make these in advance. So I would blend them up, put them in the freezer in the morning, like while I was getting ready. It would get partially frozen between already being ice and then in there. I'd throw it in my old school, we had lockers. You guys would carry it around. If I could bust it open, it would still be ice cold for when I had my shake after my second period class. So get those guys in there. The trusty banana. If you guys haven't done this shake, it means you are probably under 30. Because the rest of us have done this exact thing so many times. I'm not teaching anything new, but what we are doing is getting a boatload of calories all at once. Bomb this guy in there, bam, bam. And then everyone's favorite, Ghetto peanut butter. Great value. It is the cheapest, plus it is a no stir natural, which I love because I don't have to get the oil out like good old Laura Scudder's. And we're gonna do what we call an off-season tablespoon, which is essentially 3 tablespoons. Bomb that in there. Now this is where things get sketchy. I never know how much ice to use. So I kinda start light, get it to blend, and then we're in business. Release. Turn. Gotta hold this. I did that once and it fell right out. Uh-oh, 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 uh-oh. Did he do a work of art? It's like I've done this once or twice. Wow. As you can see, it's empty and it's full. All right, it's meal 2. We had meal 1 at 7 a.m. Now around 10:30, I start pushing down meal 2. Again, appetite's not still really loading yet, so that's where I went with the Mutant Mass protein shake. Now, it's 1100 calories all by itself, but why stop there? Why not mix it in like I did with 12 ounces of milk, a heaping scoop of peanut butter, and then of course a banana because that's the old school way. Blend it all up with some ice, filled this bad boy perfectly to the top. it's like having dessert for your second meal. And who doesn't want a little dessert at 10:30 a.m.? Knock it down, and we're well on our way to already eating more food than most people do in an entire day. All right, meal 3, my favorite meal of the day. It's also my pre-workout meal. So like we discussed, I do any steak I can get that's on sale. As you guys know, price matters. So this time I got a sirloin. I was a little sad about that, wish it was a porterhouse, but I eat the entire thing. I don't measure it. I do know, because I've done this enough, that after I pull the fat, this is about 11 ounces of steak here. And then an entire box of Kraft dinner, which we already discussed is over 1,000 calories to eat that all by itself with just a quarter cup of milk, the ghetto fake cheese that's in there, and you're on your way. So this is an awesome meal, tastes great. And the reason I like it is I actually eat this meal typically around 12:30, and I don't train until 2 hours later. So I want a meal that's heavier, that's gonna sit with me. The fats and the protein are great. The red meat always sits really well. And by the time I walk into the gym, I'm ready to roll. I know a lot of you guys like to eat closer than that. I just do not like to be overly stuffed when I'm in the gym, especially for legs or back. So this is about 2 hours before I train, knock this meal down, and the next step is headed to the gym. One thing that drives me batshit is how people talk about how difficult it is to figure out their food or get it all done, or it takes so long to meal prep. I see guys, oh, it took me 5 hours to meal prep. I'm like, what are you doing? I can make 2 pounds of ground beef in 4 minutes. I can do chicken. I mean, I used to do all the same foods, but if you want a variety, it's not difficult to do. And the key is, obviously you want your food to taste good, but that's not difficult. I literally put one seasoning on my chicken. This, good stuff, find something you like, toss it in. If you were really pressed for time, you'd grill it, because then you could make a lot more. But I'm just making like a little more than a meal's worth here. Literally just bomb it in a pan, let it get hot, throw the seasoning on. I like a lot because I want my food to taste good. And then you run it through and cook. I mean, this is gonna take 5 minutes. You're eating way more than you want to eat. You eat because you have a goal, you know? Which meant I spent 3/4 of my year stuffed and 1/4 of my year starving, because all of my eating was just based on results. So once I retired, I just vowed to never be full again. I just said, I'm never gonna be stuffed, even when I go out to eat. As soon as I think I'm full, I like call the waitress over. I'm like, take this away so I don't keep eating. Because you spend, it's funny now, the terminology is like, oh, I'm bloating, I'm having digestive problems. I'm like, no, you're just full. Because when I was in my prime, you get maybe meal 2 or 3 down and you're done. And you're like, cool, I have 3 or 4 more of those meals. So, you're heating up food and you're looking at a plate this big, you're not even hungry. And you're like, this has to go down. So it's just consistency. And now, I mean, I eat 4 meals a day, whereas before it was 6 or 7, so much easier life when you're retired and smaller. Yeah, so I make the rice in bulk still, and actually, I still measure my food. I think that once you're a bodybuilder, you're always a bodybuilder, you're gonna eat this way. The one thing that's nice about staying on a bodybuilding style diet when you're retired is you don't have to think about what you're eating. Like, I'm not like, oh, what am I gonna have next? I eat the same things every single day, the same measurements, and keeps it simple, so. All right, training is over. It was an awesome workout. I know that because it's always an awesome workout. But on this meal, all I'm worried about is carbs and protein. So I keep it really, really simple. A low-fat protein option, just do chicken breast, it's easy breezy and it can go through the gym. And basically just jasmine rice. I do about 250 grams. Again, alter that for what you need, but I wanna get in the carbs immediately. And again, at this point, I actually am starving, because before the workout, I ate 2 hours before. Now I've got an hour and a half, hour and 45-minute workout. I'm absolutely starving. This one actually comes to the gym with me. I use the gym microwave, we heat it up and we eat it in the car. Both so I can claim to be hardcore for Instagram, and because, like I said, I'm hungry. meal 5, or as normal people call it, dinner. This is where I have a little bit more fun. This meal changes around a bit, but again, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, the hunger is starting to disappear. So this is where I get away from the rice for this meal, because I just had that big meal after training. I go with something simple. Shrimp is my go-to. I can eat shrimp when I'm not hungry. It's easy to go. Throw some pasta sauce over some angel hair pasta, and the magic is you're at home, it's sports season, turn a game on and just watch the game, and next thing you know, the bowl is empty. You've eaten a full meal, it was delicious, and you're on to the next. You only got one more to go, which will be right before bed. The sporting event is over. It's time to go to bed, but you gotta get one more meal, because as you guys know, you don't wanna be going to bed on an empty stomach. So here's what I like to do. I make a fake taco. So you got two options. I got, of course, the ground beef. I throw the cheese on there. You can either, I'll always just throw hot sauce right over top of it with the rice, or if you don't have the appetite for the rice, do not be afraid of tortillas. Each tortilla that I get has 25 grams of carbs. You could literally put half of it each one, have 50 grams of carbs from the tortillas. It's an easier way to get the meal down, and if you don't have the appetite, you're good to go. The thing for me is, as much as I complained all day, bodybuilders complain, I also hate waking up in the middle of the night starving. So I eat a heavier meal before bed. It gets me all the way through the night and ready to go in the morning, and then we start the process over of looking at a meal. I don't really want to eat, but I gotta eat if I want to grow. So this is what I would do all the time. 6 meals right in front of you, what they look like. And I want you to pay attention to one important thing, more so than what foods I chose, is I made things I like to eat. I told you guys at breakfast, this is how I grew up. This is the foods I used to eat. I love tacos. That's an easy thing to get down before bed. So whether it's, because that's just taco seasoning over ground beef, good to go. Who doesn't like steak and mac and cheese? I sure do. At the end of the day, I think where people get lost is this hardcore idea that the food's gotta be bland if you wanna, what? No, the food needs to be as good as possible so you can get it down. Ask yourself this, if somebody says, oh, I'm not hungry, and then you put their favorite dessert or food in front of them, they find a way to eat. Well, make your diet food that you enjoy, and you're gonna find it's a lot easier to push down food you don't wanna eat when it at least tastes good. All right, guys, if this diet's something that you wanna try out, remember, Muscle and Strength and Mutant came together, put together a PDF that you can click the link food below, and you got your full guide to insert this diet into your life and get the gains all of your own.